How do you get people to not only understand their situation, but motivate them to take those steps and spend even a week with an adjusted lifestyle so that you can start that snowball effect?
I think a big part of it is a lot of people don't know their why. A lot of people don't think about their future in the same way that we think about like growing a business. At least in what I've seen in the clients that I've had, the people who have had the hardest time are the people who aren't really clear on why they're doing it. Getting really clear on that takes a lot of inner work. It takes a lot of reflection. It takes a lot of thinking about what is actually important to me, other than what society tells me should be important to me. How do I know what I really, really want? And the thing is, a lot of people don't know what they really, really want. And picturing your dream life can be really difficult for a lot of people because either they don't think it's achievable, they think that it's not something that they can do. And getting over that hurdle of what you think you can achieve and what is actually possible or what you've told yourself is possible is a big hurdle to get over. So there's a lot of inner work that has to take place. I have tons of clients who never would have thought of seeing a financial coach before, but the reason that they did is because one post got to them and they decided to start following me. And then they start seeing these other posts that like resonate with them. And slowly but surely they're like, maybe I could actually do this. Maybe it is possible. I mean, she did it and she didn't know anything about it. So I think that the reason that I have been successful is because of my transparency and my empathy and saying like, I have been where you are. I get it. I know what it's like to feel like retirement's not an option for you. Like you're always going to have to work. Like you're always going to live paycheck to paycheck. And it is possible. And you don't have to scam your way into it. And you don't have to join an MLM. You don't have to do any of these gross things that I think a lot of us think like, oh, I have to like do this with my finances. Like you don't have to do that. It is simple. It is not as difficult as we think it is. And you can do hard things. So I feel like it's a little bit of that of just like getting exposed and like slowly dipping your toe in the water until you see something that just really resonates with you. And it's like, those posts, they slowly chip away at you. You start to get like, oh, she did it. Oh, that other person did it. Oh, okay. And once you start entrenching yourself into the world, it becomes more normal. And you start to feel like it's not as difficult to achieve financial independence as I think it is. I think that when you're outside of the space, let's say you've never followed a personal finance person, you've never thought about finances, you've never even heard of Dave Ramsey, like all of this. When you're out of that world, it's such a foreign concept to you. But once you start stepping in the door, and you start seeing more and more people doing it and more people talking about it, and you start sharing those things and your friends start sharing those things, it just becomes this compounding effect where it's like, oh, no. And this is more normal than I think it is. Like, it's not extraordinary. It's actually something that I can achieve. So I don't know. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think you're touching on something that even you yourself did, which is when you first started your blog and you started sharing your own spending, your tracking, you make it public, you put it down, that becomes a great motivator. That social contract in general is a tremendous motivator for people to do all kinds of things. You can be on and off with a boyfriend or girlfriend for 10 years, for a year and 10 times in a year. But once you put that status official that you guys are off on Facebook or something like that, you've made that social contract and now you have to live up to it.
Right. We live in such an algorithm-based world now. So your TikTok is based off of what content you're already engaging in. Your Instagram is based off of the content you're already engaging in. Facebook, same thing. It's until you take a step outside of your community that you've already set for yourself, you don't know that there's this huge personal finance community that's actually interesting, actually relatable, actually filled with good advice, and actually can help you achieve those things. But as soon as you take that one step in just following somebody or just liking a post that has to do with personal finance, then it's like you're exposed to so much more. I keep thinking of the TikTok trend where you like open a door and you're entering in this new universe. And it's like, it's that way. It is really that way where you're like, oh, it's like this light bulb switch in your brain where it's like, all these things you had no idea were possible are actually possible. And here are all of these people who are going to help you reach whatever it is you want to do.